Oh, it's so wonderful to see you again. Come in and unwind. Welcome back to the Celestial Café, a podcast for the magical mind.
So come, take a seat. Would you like something sweet? A star drop potion for the soul? Maybe an enchanted eclair as a treat?
I just baked a batch of warm cookies with a dash of moonlight. I wonder what will happen if you take a little bite.
Here is your bewitching beverage. Let each sip melt your worries away. It's time to open your mind. I wonder what magic awaits us today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Celestial Café Podcast, a podcast for the magical mind by the magical mind. Hello, how's everybody doing today?
Good.
Good. I got to see the horses today, so it was a good day.
Aw,
The
exciting.
proverbial horses. Awesome.
I got 4 hours of sleep.
Manifestations of horses. Yeah.
I slept like shit too, Fuchsia. That's why I had to take a nap when I got home from work.
Yeah.
I
I
tossed and
thought I was
turned.
going to take a nap and I just didn't. Felix woke me up at 9 a.m. and I've been up since and I don't know why. It's not like I was doing anything with my day, but my body decided I didn't need to sleep.
Mine didn't decide that. I don't know if it was whatever. But yeah, this is our first of 4 episodes of our au revoir, goodbye, sayonara, farewell, where we're going to focus on each of the individual hosts just for a little. This is like a super mini episode. We're going to try to keep these around a half hour or so. And this episode is all about me.
Wow.
Watashi. Yeah.
The shady lady.
The shady lady. So we did ask y'all for Q&A questions. Thank you to everyone that had some questions for us. There was lots of fun ones, and they're giving us all great jumping points for how we're going to kind of frame our episodes. So we'll be airing this episode the first week of July, and each episode will follow for every host. So once a week, you're going to get a little spotlight. And we're not only going to be answering some of the Q&A questions, but kind of just talking about a major topic of interest for us and what we're going to kind of specifically what our content will be focused on when if you decide to follow us off of Celestial Café, kind of a sneak peek or preview of like the energy you're going to get from us on our own individual platforms. Of course, we will still be doing some like collabs here and there with each other. So you'll still get that Celestial Café energy, maybe a reunion or 2 in the future. You never know. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into whatever the hell I want to talk about. So I'll start. Yeah.
We are also going to ask questions of you, right? Isn't that part of the plan? I have a big important
y'all
question.
have questions for wait, I didn't know I was supposed to come with questions for y'all. I can bullshit my way through that though.
No,
We're gonna bullshit it. It's fine. That's
okay.
fine all the time.
I didn't come prepared with that homework. No.
It has never been addressed. Why are you so shady?
Oh no. I don't know the answer to that. All like the I don't know. I made this username in like 2012 Tumblr era. I like words that rhyme. I have always been femme coded with my usernames. And that's the whole origin story. And the only reason I've ever thought about rebranding is because of the negative connotation with the word shady. So I've thought about rebranding like a lot for like 5 or 6 years just because it's like shady is not a good word. Shady means you're a bad person. But the best that I've been able to do is just I think like I was playing Overwatch one day and someone on the enemy team was like, what makes you so shady or something like that, and I was like, oh, just casual tax evasion or something like that. That's the best I can do, like but yeah.
Sometimes I take a little extra ketchup packets, when I'm at
sometimes
Oh my God. What? What do you mean sometimes? It's a way of life.
I'm a sip thief at my coffee shop job. Every time I make a blended drink, I leave a tiny bit in the blender so I can drink some of it too. That's my current shady tactic. I'm like a peanut butter and blueberry smoothie. Hold up, I'm about to make a little extra because what the fuck? And there you have it. I'm reluctantly shady, and I can't shake the name because I cannot come up with a username that's better. So.
It's a very good username.
Like it.
I was picturing it's just like not necessarily like shady in a bad way, but more of like in the shadows. Because like I don't know, you're very interested in like mysterious.
I think I'm like, hey bitch, you want to try some shrooms? know what I mean? Like I'm like the weird girl that shows up at the party and I've got psychedelics in my purse. Like I'm ready to pry your third eye open at any point in time, consensually.
Just come here.
It's a very Scorpio.
For legal reasons, I need to clarify
alias.
that was a joke. But
Probably good. For all the nerds who watch us,
yeah,
you know.
my FBI agent is like, wait, he's like, you don't have shrooms in here. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Like,
Yeah.
she's such a poser.
Yeah, he's like, get a load of this. Get a load of her.
But yeah, I thought I would chat today all about the travel plans. I'm embracing my Sagittarius moon energy, and like legit, when I say like I took all of my posters down on my walls over here, and I have maps up now. Like, I have 2 maps of the Smoky Mountains, and then I bought another map at the gas station last night that's like the back roads of Western North Carolina or something. And actually, like I put it up on my wall and I started to go mark a few things. And there's one thing on there that's actually a very well-known tourist spot that's not on it. I was like, what kind of like secret spot map is this to not have like a well-known tourist location? I'm confused.
Would that not be a not secret spot?
No, but it has. What I think it has on here is like where the good fishing spots are, and I'm like, I spent $20 on a fisherman's map. What the fuck?
I was gonna say this is a mystery map for the average white 50-year-old man.
Yeah, essentially.
The way Dukesley horror spot.
I was thinking it's time for Shady to actually go play Stardew Valley in real life.
No, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in playing like Professor Layton in real life.
You.
Oh, I'm not interested in fishing. I'm interested in swimming. The little fishies can nip my toes, and that's it.
Swim away.
I'm not interested in fishing. Fishing for compliments, maybe. Do you guys like my hair? I'm just kidding. So it's funny because about 2 years ago, I went up to the park ranger in this area with my parents, and I bought about $100 worth of trail books. Like I have one here. It's called the Smoky's Road Guide, and it's just a bunch of trails around here and like bear safety and how you can take like the Blue Ridge Parkway from one point to the other, basically from like middle of the mountains in North Carolina up to middle of the mountains in Tennessee. It's even got a little map included, so I just have a bunch of these little maps on my wall right now that I'm straight up like push pinning. Like I've got like a couple of locations picked out that are push pins, and I'm trying to kind of like figure out the most logical way to go and visit these. And well, I want to be back before sundown because I'm not about to get caught out in these crazy spots at night where the Bigfoot's going to get me or something.
I was going to say, I'm ready for like the push pins and the maps to then have the strings connecting them to footprint locations.
Here, and then there was a little bit of hair found over here.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fully prepared to like be documenting these adventures, and I actually have an EMF reader that I just got in the mail today that I'm pretty excited to fiddle around with. I've already been playing around with it with my family today, but where do I even start? I have been binge researching for the last like 3 or 4 days, just like I started with like haunted locations in Western North Carolina, and now I'm coming to understand that I live in the what is this place called? The Smoky Mountain National Park. And I'm on the far like right side, the far east side of the Smoky Mountain National Park. And I'm just kind of barely in that little cluster, the bottom left quadrant of it. And I'm like, dang, there's a lot to explore. And I'm like straight up, like I have a topographical map up here that's kind of shot from like an isometric angle. Is that what you call it? Where you're sort of 3/4 off the ground. So I can see how tall all of the mountains are compared to each other. It kind of gives me a feel of the elevation. And I've lived in these mountains for almost a decade now. So it's kind of interesting to be like, oh, that one's called that and that one's called that. Okay, because I drive by this every day and I never knew it had a name. Of course it has a name. So I've been learning a lot about my area because I've been completely immersed in the computer since I've been here. So I'm learning the lay of the land. I'm learning what the places are called, and I'm learning about the history of this area. And it's actually like not good. This
problematic.
Like legit. I live on the like spitting distance outskirts of Cherokee, so this is definitely a Trail of Tears area. So there's like we're just completely entrenched in the indigenous people's lore back like around here. So it's not necessarily Bigfoot. I think it's called Sukalu. And that's where my first location I'm going to is called Judaculla Rock. And Judaculla Rock is a soapstone rock that has we can't date it because it's made of soapstone, but it's 2,000 to 3,000 year old petroglyphs that we have no origin
What's a
for.
petroglyph?
Kind of like a hieroglyph, right? It's like a picture.
They're rock carvings.
Writing,
is the better way.
right?
And they're not quite they're not like prehistoric. They're a couple thousand years old, but even the Cherokee people don't know where it came from. And that's where the mystery comes from, because there is a creature. And according to like anthropology courses that are taught at the local colleges here, it is technically a Cherokee god called Sukalu. I'm probably butchering that. I definitely apologize. It has definitely been anglicized into Judaculla, which is where the location Judaculla Rock. Judaculla is Sukalu, Judaculla, and then the more proper Cherokee pronunciation of this creature. This is one that I'm heavily focused on right now. So I'm definitely going to be doing a deep dive in this because my ass is about to go out to this rock that's got Judaculla's motherfucking handprint on it, apparently. So he is a giant that was put here before humans were. And his job was to take care of the land and keep nature in balance with the animals. And then man showed up and he was here to kind of teach man how to live in balance with nature. And this is something where if Judaculla gets angry, then the peoples would work to please him through, crops. What do you call these when you're donating to gods? Gifts to the gods and stuff like that.
Offerings.
Offerings. And he has allegedly taken one, possibly more Cherokee wives, where there may or may not be like offspring from Judaculla. And what fascinates me about this is that there's a lot of giant lore throughout all of like the world's cultures and religions.
Yes.
So I'm very interested in like kind of connecting this to other cultural giant lore that's happened across the world. But this rock that I'm going to go see, this is going to be one of the first places I go to. It's less than an hour for me. It is it's not super big. I would imagine that it's I would guess maybe less than 10 feet long and less than 10 feet like wide circumference, however you say it. If y'all are curious to look it up, I'm definitely going to be doing a YouTube video on visiting the space and kind of researching it. But you can just Google the Judaculla Rock and you'll see they're like squiggle lines. There's little like people stick figures and there's a spot on it.
So I Googled it. And a petroglyph specifically is an image created by removing part of a rock surface. So it's usually like scraped or carved or picked away. So it's an image.
Very juvenile is the best way I would put it. Like they're like squiggly lines and spirals and just solid lines. And there's some things that look like a shift 6 asterisk kind of like stars. And but there's no agreement on what these mean. They're like, is this just, it could just be like ancient graffiti, like some kids that lived in that area just came and were doodling on the rock. Cool. But we don't know where it came from. And what sucks, we can't date the stone. Like I said, it's soapstone. And back in like the 20s or 30s, I'm going to come back to Judaculla in a second, but in the 20s or 30s, maybe a little before or after that, there was, and I guess I get it. They were attempting to photograph this, of course, white people here, but, and they used chalk to fill in the carving etches so that it would show up better in photograph. And it is one of the best pictures we have of the rock. And because the chalk had a chemical reaction to the soapstone and it is now rapidly breaking the rock down. So it has gone from, it lasted for like 2,000 to 3,000 years. And all of a sudden over the last 100 years, it's been rapidly deteriorating.
The hubris.
That's what I said. I was like, can we just leave shit alone?
That's just a metaphor for the entire world. It lasted how long? And now it's just
so rapidly deteriorating my mental health as an adult. But yeah, it's one of the best pictures that exists just because of the high contrast of the rock to the white chalk. But it did, in fact, cause the rock to slowly start eating itself, essentially. So the lore about this rock is that Judaculla, like I said, was a giant. And he would jump from one rock that was tens, if not hundreds of miles away. I'll have to get back to y'all because it's a specific mountain. I want to say Tennessee Bald is the name of the mountain. Or that's the plain he's jumping into. I'm still working on my geography up here. But he jumped from one mountain down into this valley and landed on the rock and like braced himself in the rock, and it created a 7-fingered handprint. That's rather strange looking. It's hard for me to see, but again, the rock is deteriorating at this point. It's been, it's widely agreed that it's Judicula's handprint, and that is like that's his nesting ground essentially. And right around the corner from this area is a place that has been anglicized as the Devil's Courthouse. The Cherokee people and people who have been here longer than 100 or 2 years know it as Judicula's like resting point. And this is where he goes to, like, he would have like dance, whatever. He lives in a mountain, like a little cave deep in this mountain. And they call it the Devil's Courthouse because the profile of the mountain is supposed to look sinister. I tried every which way to see it as sinister, and I really don't see it.
Nah, that's just some classic white hatred. We hate to see it.
Yeah, because Judicula is not a devil, and he's called the Cherokee Devil, and he's linked with like Bigfoot because he is a larger than life creature. But he's the Lord of the Hunt. He can take many animal forms, and he shapeshifts, and that's how he actually woos a Cherokee wife and tricks. I don't know if I want to say tricks her. I'm not super studied on it enough yet, but from what it sounded like, the couple of like legends I was reading, she saw him as a human, but the mother saw him in the true form. And so I don't know if we want to call it tricking, or because I'm not really sure if it was like true love or if it was just he wanted a mate, or
it gives very like Zeus energy kind of. So like, yeah.
So
it's interesting.
This is one of the spots that I have been fascinated with over the last couple of days, and I'm truly fucking mind blown that there is a 3,000-year-old petroglyph that I can just go and like touch. You know what I mean? It's right around the corner from me, and I had no idea this was here. And now that I think about it, I probably knew it existed because my parents have shown me pictures of this years ago, but I was not interested in traveling. I guess I was like, I want to play video games, but now I want to go see everything. And there's several other locations that I'll be going to. I think this one's probably the most interesting because it kind of we've got the lore and the mythology, but we also have possible cryptid association because the Judicula is supposed to be the Cherokee Devil, which is also associated with Bigfoot. But I don't think that they are one and the same. I think this is just pure like tourist bullshittery. But yeah, that one I'm very excited for. And I have my EMF reader for some of the ancient history in this area. Not ancient, sorry, but like 200-year-old history.
I have a question. So this is my question for you. So with all of these, like, it sounds like you're really diving into like history or like spots that you're going to go visit and local mythology and stories and things like that. Will we be seeing a return of Midnight Study Sesh for these subjects?
I possibly could do something like that. That's not bad. It's not a bad idea.
While we're on the subject, I was thinking kind of the same thing as Panthera's question, because it's definitely something that could, at least a deep dive on your blog.
You can tell I've gone super hyper focused on Judicula specifically. Yeah? I've been watching like YouTube videos because there's a Cherokee. He works at the college, but I'm not sure if his official title. He's clearly like an elder storyteller, because that was where I got the main lore for it. Is there's a YouTube video of him standing in front of the rock and teaching a class of like 10 to 15-year-olds about it, and there's several blogs that kind of cover it. If I could, I would like to kind of try to poke around Cherokee and see if there are actual elders or people that I can talk to up there and get more information and learn more about it. Like, kind of, this is what's exciting me so much, is I'm going like investigative journalist on some of this stuff, and I want to.
You should reach out to the professor and see if they want to do an interview with you or something.
I was like, maybe I could do an interview. Maybe I could sit down and like have a whole chat about this. Like, I'm really, really interested in, and even with some of these other places, like there's an area up in Cataloochee, which is a very remote area. It's not super duper remote, but it's a 1-lane dirt road up there, and it's definitely. It used to be one of the most populated areas, and this is the history of this area is like. So we had, of course, we had the Trail of Tears, which took a lot of the indigenous people out of this area. And then it was settled by what we know now as like the Appalachian people. Then the federal government comes over and fucks in the Appalachian people as well. There's an area called Fontana Lake, which is somewhere in 100 miles of me or so. And there were like 1,000 people living there at the time, which was a lot. This was like the mid 1800s. That was a lot. And the US government forced all of those people out of their homes that they lived at since we started settling this area, to put a man-made lake in there. And then they promised these people, they created some kind of deal that they were going to pave a road out there so that these people could go to their ancestors' graves and still get back to their old homes, and whatever else. And then there was some kind of environmental concern where they were like unearthing some kind of rock that was like either like creating some sulfuric acid or something that we can't do this anymore because it's going to be too expensive to fix this. So actually, we're just not going to build this road. And now this place is called the Road to Nowhere. You walk through this really long tunnel, and then the road just stops at the end of the tunnel, and it turns back into a dirt road, and then a very small trail that leads you into the lake, where the lake has got the skeleton of the town underneath it, buried under the lake, which is a dam reservoir. And so that's a whole other thing here. And there's all kinds of like, this is a 200-year-old house that's still standing and I can hike to and go stand inside. And of course it's been graffitied and carved into by the fucking tourists that come. Can y'all just let shit be cool? Like, do you have to carve your name into everything? You don't have to put a dick on everything, Bobby. Like, I'm so...
Hear that, Bobby?
It's always fucking Bobby. All the pictures I'm seeing of these places are like these incredible historic artifacts, and they're graffitied. Another thing I'm going to be going to visit, look, when I tell you I've been researching this like crazy, is a Freemason tower. It's a rock, like miniature obelisk tower that has been built using over 70 rocks from all over the world. Like there's a piece of the White House in it. There's like part of Plymouth Rock in it. And it's from all over the world, these little different, and the Freemasons meet there once a year. And I'm like, excuse me? What do you mean? What day? What day? Because I'll be camped up in a tree like motherfucking the Forest game. Like I'll be sitting here like they're over here like communing out with Bigfoot or some shit. I don't know.
Pulling an Outlander. Isn't that how the fucking show starts?
For one day a year, you two are
sneaking up on some witches. Yeah,
there's actually a shit ton of Masonic stuff going on out in this area. So I'm very interested to kind of deep dive in history, but I also feel like I might unearth some stuff that may shine unfavorably on some people in the area that might hold positions of power. Because it's like, oh yeah, you got this office because your dad was leader 50 years ago, and it turns out that he was responsible for shutting this school down for no reason because he wanted to put his golf course there. How funny. Because I'm kind of like, how was the land developed? Where did
that's so fascinating.
Because that's where the haunted history comes from. You know what I mean? Like this place is supposedly haunted. The Cataloochee area I'm going to that I was talking about, it's got a one-room schoolhouse and something called the Caldwell House, which is one of the last standing settler houses in that area. And there's something called Mingus Mill, which is a still functioning mill that's almost 200 years old. Now that you've
fucking Mingus Mill.
Yeah, and it still functions. You can go get like cornmeal, like they still make cornmeal from it, and I could make me some corn biscuits out of it, so I might.
Some Mingus biscuits,
some cornbread.
Look, I'll send y'all a bag of this cornmeal. Don't start with me.
I'm allergic.
Okay, some good old Appalachian cornmeal, like. But I don't know. I'm really excited. I'm like 2 years ago, I bought all that hiking gear and all those hiking books I was talking about. And then I broke my arm, and it kind of like I was going to have a whole adventure girl summer, and then I broke my arm, and it just turned into like hyper depressed girl summer that's just lingered. So now I'm kind of re-embracing it. And I'm gonna, I don't have anyone to go with. So that's my one trepidation is like, I'm afraid to go. Like some of these places are like a 3-mile hike through the woods on a trail that's like not very traveled anymore to get to like these 200-year-old houses I'm talking about. Maybe over time I'll make some friends in the area because I'm not about. There's some of these spots I'm not about to go to by myself. But and I don't think
Shady, I'm just a plane ticket away.
If y'all ever want to come down here,
send me that money.
Let me and I'll put my pockets. I got plenty of it. But yeah, I'm very, this is basically, maybe it's just a hyper focus for the summer. And once the weather starts to turn, I won't be doing a lot of travel.
So be it.
But then I can start to convert all my video. Like I can go adventure for the summer and then I can produce the content over the winter. And this is actually how the people of this area function. We like go out and create and gather in the summer and then sell. We run our shops and stuff like that. And over the winter, when our tourist levels go down, we're in production. We're like sitting in our little homes because it's too cold to go outside, knitting all the stuff we're going to be selling next summer. You know what I mean?
You could also like do all your research and stuff over the winter time, and then you have your routes and what exactly where you want to go and stuff planned for the summer. So then you can just be like, go,
so
and
I
recording.
have my couple of spots picked out that I'm going to be going this summer, but maybe over time. And then I start to produce the videos, and then maybe more people reach out and they're like, oh, well, you posted about this in the Judicola video. Did you know this is over there? Like, that's what I'm hoping. And I've been asking a lot of word of mouth lately, like, where are cool spots? And I actually just found out there's a plane crash up on a mountain peak that I go to all the time called Water Rock Knob. And I don't have a reason to go up there anymore. I was just talking with a coworker about there's been a plane crash up there since 1983. And it was a passenger jet, not a passenger. It was a pilot and a passenger were in it. It was a private plane and it crashed up there and there was no way to retrieve the plane because it's so high on a mountain peak. And so sadly, the passenger and the pilot both died there, but the plane crash has been there forever. It was even in a movie at some point. And this is a popular, they call it a social trail. It's not a sanctioned trail in the Smoky Mountain Parks, but I was talking with a coworker about, maybe in the next couple of weeks I'm gonna go up and like find it, because I've been up there before and I've hiked that whole trail, but it's off the side of the trail. And guess what I saw on Google 2 days ago? They airlifted the fucking plane wreckage out. After 40 years, they airlifted the plane wreckage out. I'm so mad about it. but yeah.
You're not going to have a lost moment, I fear. I'm sorry.
That's fine, really. And there's also like trails that you can find like old structure skeletons of Model A and Model T automobiles, the original cars from cool. So I got a lot going on in my brain and that I'm going to try to explore. And so it's going to be a lot of like the Appalachian history, Smoky Mountain history, which is like North Carolina, Tennessee. I want to say like Georgia, Kentucky, West Virginia. What's that? Country roads take me home. Wherever that song was literally written about the area I'm about to do a deep dive exploring on. So. And then maybe this will go really well. And then in the future, I can travel the world.
Wow.
So
I love it.
I don't know. I'm really fired up and really excited about this. And that's what I got going on. So it's a little bit of cryptids. It's a little bit of history. It's a little bit of haunted, like ghost hunting, but not taking ghost hunting too seriously.
So cool. I can't.
It's not gonna. I don't have a whole kit or anything. I literally have an EMF reader, and it's kind of just for like shits and giggles.
That's one part, right? Like that's one piece. You got tarot cards. That's
and also
I don't know if I'm trying
that's
to.
how it starts.
I really don't know if I'm trying it like because I'm skeptical, but I'm also not that skeptical. I don't know that I'm really trying to have something follow me home. You know what I mean? Especially not some old uncle fucking Appalachian grandpa motherfucker. That's
make sure you say goodbye after using your Ouija board. You'll be good.
So I don't know. He'll just like give you like fish at your front step or something. That sounds pretty based.
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be like your nightmare?
I know.
Based for Ty. I'm not involved in this.
I don't eat fish, so that would also bother me. But
my cat would love that, actually.
Yeah. Toasty would love it.
They're Toasty.
I don't think Toasty would know what to do with a real fish. This girl is so sheltered at this point.
Here's my question for you.
Okay.
How's Toasty?
What do you mean, how's Toasty?
Never mind then.
She's unhinged. She's a little freak of nature.
My question sucks.
She hooked the shit out of me the other day. Like, I don't know if you can see that little mark. She like hooked the shit out of me. She's been crazy. She's got a little red eye today. I don't know what she got into while I was at work. She's wailing her head off. She doesn't get enough food, apparently. Tell that to her primordial pouch.
She found the catnip stash while you were gone.
She's wonderful. She's my best friend. And we're very codependent on each other. But yeah, she's probably just chilling right now. I'm sure we'll probably see her in one of the episodes that we're recording later tonight. Toasty. Yeah, I can't say her name too much. She's been good for now. So So yeah,
keep her silent.
It's like a sleeping baby. Don't wake them up.
don't wake Toasty. Don't wake her.
The T word.
Yeah, it's like when you have to do WALK for your dog.
Oh yeah.
Cooper.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
TOAST.
Yeah, TOASTY. I don't know where she is. Honestly, ST sounds a little like still just saying the letters ST sounds like her name. So like, I can feel her lurking right now.
The birds here like creeping in the background, like a little creature, like the grimace shakes.
Oh my god. But yeah, so if you want to keep up with my adventures, you can follow me at Hey Shady Lady on everything. I'll probably primarily be posting on YouTube and Instagram. Twitter and Twitch are a little backburnered for me at the moment because I'm not very happy with how those sites are run.
Why wouldn't you be?
Yeah,
so
fair.
I think I'm mostly going to be doing YouTube content, and then Instagram will be like my little daily updates in the story and stuff like that. So, and then I have my website at heyshadyLady.com as well, which is where I'll be like writing blogs about all of this. And yeah, that's what I got. That's what I brought to the table today.
Like, Hey Shady Lady, like in and of itself, matches this era.
I was thinking that because I started to make a Tumblr the other day and I was trying to come up with like an Appalachian, like, you know, Smoky Mountain kind of like, and I was like, I don't know, like it's going to be too cheesy. Like I feel like Shady Lady, like walking around the mountain sounds about right. So
yeah,
like looking for haunted stuff and I feel like a cryptid explorer with a name like Shady Lady. So
exactly. See,
Bigfoot,
it all comes around full circle.
There are definitely a lot of Bigfoot legends in this area too. And I'd have to dig for Bigfoot sightings, but we have like giant on the way up to Catalucci when I'm going to the elementary school, the one room elementary school that's allegedly haunted. I didn't include that part when I was talking about it earlier, but there's a giant wooden Bigfoot statue en route up there. And what I was talking with Judiculla earlier, Cherokee Devil is like an anglicized, whitewashed name for him because he is not a devil, he's a god. So
right.
But if he's not the Christian god, then he's the devil.
That's exactly where this all stemmed from. So I'm excited to learn more and start my little explorative journey. I wish I lived closer so we could go together because I'm codependent and I'm scared to do it by myself. But
it's a little scary.
I'm gonna be brave.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe you'll find other adventurers on the trail.
Possibly.
And Spider-Man being at each other.
Honestly, I know I have quite a few friends who do like hiking all the time, and they've made so many friends just from hiking trails.
Well, I'm in some hiking groups, they meet up with. And I've been trying to kind of scout out social groups that are focused around stuff like this. And I don't know that I definitely specifically want to go find like ghost hunters or stuff, but maybe that's like the right route to take to like urban explorers and stuff.
It might be fun to even just like talk to them about their experiences.
What have you
like
found
that would be a great
here?
Like just a video for like a one-off. You don't have to like hang out with them all the time.
I remember watching that Amazon documentary about the Kentucky goblins, and it was that group of people. It was so fun. And I was like, I would love to produce something like that. I'd love to make.
You should.
But even just watching them do this, I'm like, they're going to like towns of population like less than 1,000. They're walking into the gas station. They're just talking to old Uncle Craig over there in the corner, and he's got a shotgun behind him, and maybe he,
in his rocking chair, spit and dip into the tip cup,
literally. And I'm like, that's not something I feel comfortable doing by myself as a lady.
Yeah.
But that's where
that's a shady lady.
A shady lady, yeah. But that's where you get the good information is kind of on the grounds, like, hey, where are the ghosts around here? Have you ever seen a ghost? You ever seen a UFO? Has anybody in your family ever talked about seeing Bigfoot? Like that's kind of
has anyone in your family ever been a ghost?
Well, that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. So I think that maybe I'm a little hesitant because I might become known locally and I like blending in and not being talked to a lot of the times. So if I'm like poking around and asking questions and making video productions with people in them,
you're gonna be the local little freak.
Yeah, I know. And that's like the one thing where it's like, oh no.
Well, maybe start like a little further away if you need to. Like reach out for like the 45 minutes hour away
there's
places.
There's not really further away. They're all everything here in this little like circle that I've kind of created. This is interconnected with each other, and so it's. And the other thing is like I definitely am worried about doxing myself, but I think part of me has said. I literally said it at work today. I was like, fuck it. If I die, I die. So I can't live like this is the thing is I've noticed over the last I'm becoming like self-aware TM that I live in fear over everything. Like, well, what if I do this then this happens? Like, and it's constantly I don't want to do this thing that I'm thinking about doing because this bad thing might happen. And I don't want to cover the local, legends because then I'm definitely, and even talking about these areas that I'm going to explore, this is within an hour with me. You could triangulate my general area at this point. And that to me, it's like I either accept that or I don't. And I just sit here and continue to play video games, which is clearly making me unhappy at this point in my life. So I still want to play video games, obviously, but I have to get away from this fucking computer a little bit or else I don't know. I also am excited to this maybe jumpstart like a more fit era of my life. That's another definite. That's nice. Hiking around and walking up mountains is probably not going to contribute to weight gain as much as sitting here and playing Overwatch will,
Says you. I'm sweating bullets.
I know, but this will be like a good like stress relief, and it will be like relieving that adrenaline, and it will be putting that adrenaline to use. Whereas Overwatch is just filling my body with cortisol that has nowhere to go. So I feel like this is
except to the other team in
where I tell everyone, Zooks, you play Overwatch with me. I'm clearly a very balanced person on that game. I'm not constantly telling the enemy team to seek therapy and take a shower, and that's very healthy use of my fucking time on Earth.
You should go pro.
Honestly. Okay.
I feel like going pro in Overwatch that's the opposite of getting away from your computer.
I'm not going pro. And if anything, because I've got my 35,000 followers on YouTube who only care about Twitch tutorials. So I'm just going to show up and be like, yo, what's up? Here's some motherfucking Bigfoot legends. And it's like, here's me hiking. And like, because they're going to I'm going to do them like vlog style too. So it's going to be me like in the car driving and talking, and then maybe some on the ground interviews. And so it's not even remotely the type of content I've been making. And I guess it's again, like, fuck it. If I die, I die. If my online brand dies, it dies. And I clearly don't want to make Twitch tutorials. So here we go.
The opposite of fear is love. And if you follow what you love, it should eventually heal the fear.
That was beautiful, Dukesley. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think you're ready to let that online brand go. You've been working towards letting it go for a long time, but I think you're finally, especially with this new direction, this aspect.
And I'm sure that y'all can tell just from like how energized I am and excited I am. Is it a temporary hyper focus? That's entirely fucking possible. I'm not going to lie. I could just be.
I don't think that's a bad.
Nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that. As long as you don't put your entire life savings into it. But we're millennials, so we have like $100 in our life savings.
Exactly.
So,
But I bought the EMF reader, and the rest of this stuff, besides that $20 map I was talking about, the rest of this stuff has just been in my possession for the last 2 years, and it's like I'm finally like dusting it off, bringing it out of storage, and it's like, I bought the hiking gear last year. I bought the hiking books 2 years ago, and maybe I've been mentally prepping for it, but I got a nice like hiking backpack too. I got one of those like plastic things with like the straws that come out of them so you can drink out of your backpack while you're like,
way.
I've had this shit in my
with the little beer cups.
But it's got like an emergency
one in a water and another.
I've got an emergency first aid kit in it. It's got a paracord bracelet with a whistle on it. I've got a compass. Like, I'm not planning on getting lost, but if I do get lost,
well, I don't think most people
I've played enough video games to maybe have a basic understanding of what to do. The next thing on my list, though, is a life straw. That's one that I kind of want to have in my emergency backpack of I fall down the mountain and I'm trapped here for 2 months. Negative fantasies that I have that make me afraid to do this. But
so no joke. if you can find one happening around you, I recommend going to zombie apocalypse survival training.
Yes.
Like, it is first aid, it is what to do when you're stranded, it is like all this like actual real life applications with the context of a zombie apocalypse. But
speaking of self-defense classes too, and a taser and pepper spray, and like, because even if like it's not a human threat, I think pepper spray might like be useful against a bear, you know, like as a last ditch.
Oh yeah,
like
you should definitely have mace
spray that big puppy in the eyes and run kind of thing. Like, but yeah, so.
I bring mace with me when I go on hikes.
I've never had mace before
always
in my
have pepper
life.
spray on me for all of my dog walks and everything.
Yeah,
is this a bad time to say that I live in Chicago? I've never had pepper spray.
I was going to say I've kind of always just existed in life with the expectation that I'm never going to be attacked by anything, which is probably not smart.
God, I wish that were me.
But then I broke my arm and now I'm afraid of everything all the time. So, but in reality, the only threat to me was myself. Anyway, I'm gonna tie us up here. We still got a few episodes to record tonight, which y'all will see a couple of weeks from now. But if y'all are interested in following on that journey, like I said, at Hey Shady Lady everywhere, I'd love to have y'all join. I'm very excited to be a local history buff, and maybe that can expand to other areas of the country and possibly the world later on. But my Sagittarius moon is very happy with the aspect of traveling and standing at the top of mountains and looking across the expanse, and so thank you all for listening, and I guess that's gonna wrap this episode up. So
cool. Next episode will be me.
Yay, Doogsley's time. So we'll see y'all next week for the Doogsley episode. We're very excited. The little Shmeebo interview. All right. Well, we'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.